obviously the Jake Lockers, the Senio Calamentes, the Jermaine Curses. Those guys they're really setting the tone for what we want out of practice, and it's kind of falling in line with the younger guys. And they were obviously swimming a little bit today, some of our freshman kids, but we kept putting them back out there and making them play, and I thought they got better as practice went on.
What are you looking for out of Chris Polk year 1 to year 2? What can he improve on?
Well, I think one is just the continued feel for running the ball. Chris is a big contact guy, and he doesn't mind the contact, but if we can eliminate some of the contact at the line of scrimmage and then eliminate some of the contact in the secondary moves. Chris was excellent around the line of scrimmage last year, but I think when he watches the film and we watch it together and evaluate it, there were opportunities for some real big plays last year with a secondary cut, a secondary move, a secondary break tackle on a free safety that could have created some big plays, and I think we'll get that out of him, one, just from a true efficiency of running the ball and understanding the runs, and two, maybe taking a little of the load off of him with Coop or Fogerson or Collier, one of those guys that can reduce some of his carries but yet create more big plays for him.
On a practice like today, first day, how much time do you have to spend with the incoming freshmen, just letting them know where to go, where to line up, and all of that kind of stuff? And what do you think of the new guys today?
I think I was proud of our veterans to get our new kids ready, because we weren't able to be with them all summer long, and for our veterans to give them an idea of what practice is like and where to go, I thought was something, one, that was good. Two, we really tried to go through practice in the AM meetings this morning to address exactly where we're going, what we're trying to get done, and they kind of followed in line. They weren't perfect, but all in all, I was very impressed with this group, from the skill guys to the big guys. I thought they competed extremely well. They made plays, they made mistakes, but I think before I look at the film, I think they learned from them. They understood what we were trying to do, and it's a very athletic-looking group. And I think all in all, if I can make one quick assessment after this practice, is if they can't help us on offense and defense, they're surely going to help us on special teams. These guys are an athletic group of kids.
Did anybody jump out?
Kevin Smith, I thought, did some really nice things. Sean Parker had some nice breaks on the ball. Shirley, Jamora. Those are off the top of my head of just some guys that kind of stood out. All those young linemen, I mean, they all played, and they all played a bunch today.
Steve, you mentioned Calamente. He looks like he's about ready to blow up and become a real dominant left tackle in this game. Is that what you see?
Oh, there's no doubt. I thought it in spring. He's an all Pac-10 left tackle, and fortunately he's a junior. He's still a little bit raw out there. It's a new position for him, but athletically and physically, and then from the mentality standpoint, he believes he's dominant, and that's half the battle at that position. And I think he'll only continue to grow, especially once we get into pads, and his comfort level is going to continue to grow out there.
And with 4 or 5 guys back, shouldn't that be considered a strength in some ways on this team? I mean, a lot of people have talked about it as the opposite, which I don't get that. I mean,
I view it as that. We have 7 guys back that started football games for us in the offensive line last year, and whether or not they were great or not last year, that experience is invaluable to play in a hostile environment when there's crowd noise against some of the best defensive linemen in the country. Is only going to help those guys mentally prepare and help them heading into the offseason of physically what they needed to get done to get prepared for this fall. And I think the group has really grown and come together under Danny's leadership, and I love what they bring. I mean, we haven't in 2 springs and a fall camp and then a fall season. This is the first time we've ever gone 1s, 2s, and 3s because we're that deep on the offensive line.
What did you make of Patoe? Did you get a chance to?
He's an explosive kid. He's powerful. He's probably the most explosive defensive lineman we've maybe had around here compared to Daniel Teonesha. I mean, he's got the snap, the explosion, the hands, and the power. Now, he's got a long way to go to learn the system and understanding what to do and how to play, but just from a natural explosiveness standpoint, I've been very impressed.
Is Quentin Richardson looked like he was out for a little while?
Yeah, he had some back spasms. He'll be okay, and Vonzell McDowell had a turf toe. Those are the 2 guys.
How do you think Montana's picked up on the system?
I was impressed. I thought Keith and Nick both had nice days today. They improved from spring, and that's the goal. That's why we keep working and keep practicing, and they're much more efficient. We took less sacks. We threw the ball to the right guys. Now, we missed some throws here and there, but we're throwing it to the right guys and throwing it on time.
You've got some work to do with the tight end position. You've lost a guy. How did Chris look out there? And, what do you expect from him?
I thought he did a nice job. Chris has been impressive. I mean, since January of this year, he's been impressive, not only on the field, but off the field. He's changed in every way possible, and I think he's assuming almost a leadership role in this team, which is a tribute to him. That tight end position is intriguing to me because we've got some young kids there that are physically capable of doing some things, and we're a football team that we can be creative with our personnel groupings to put other guys in that spot to do some things, and that's the beauty of this system. It's got enough flexibility. We don't have to always have a tight end or two tight ends in there. We can be multiple with our personnel groupings to still be effective.
And same kind of with the fullback too, with Paul Homer being gone.
Yeah.
You've got a hole to fill there.
Yeah, we've got Austin Sylvester there, and he's doing a really nice job. Again, had a great offseason. I like what Dorson Boyce has done at the fullback and tight end spot to be interchangeable there. And, I'm anxious to see young Fogerson run around. He's an athletic kid, and, he looks good in our underwear so far, but we got to see when we put pads on.
Was the recruiting of Nick Montana different just because of who his dad is? Was there ever a moment of, wow, there's Joe Montana sitting on his couch?
Yeah, I kind of thought that. I never really told him, I had his poster up on my wall when I was a kid, but I think for initially, but once you get into it and once we got to know the family, and not only Joe but Jennifer and the other siblings, they're a normal family. They're good people. Those are the type of people you like to recruit and you like to be around, because that's the type of program we're trying to foster here. So I thought once you get over the first phone call to Joe Montana or Joe Montana calling you, it was a pretty normal process.
He gets asked a lot about that. Nick does, about the pressure of being Joe's son. Do you ever talk with him about that?
Never.
About being his own guy? And
I mean, we don't even bring it up. We let the kid just play and be himself. We don't joke about it. The other players don't joke about it. He just plays ball. And I think that's part of the reason why he's here. I think he felt that in the environment here, that he could be himself and enjoy the process of being a college athlete and a student, and living in the dorms and doing all things freshmen do.
Was Justin Glenn maybe able to do a little more than you thought?
I think so. I don't exactly know, Bob. I'm going to have to look at the film to see exactly how he moved around, but he was definitely out there playing.
Any of the coaches jump out at you today?
I like Danny Cazzetto today. When you've got 7 true freshman linemen that you're working with, man, you got to bust your hump to make that happen. And I thought those guys performed. These days potentially could be a disaster of just defensive linemen running through free and fumbled snaps and different things. But I thought the offensive line performed pretty well.
It seemed like that third linebacker position, starting position, you were rotating so many guys in there. Is it going to be like that for a while, or is that going to kind of shake down?
I think so. We're not going to rush it. We've got a lot of young, talented kids that could go in there and play. And we've got some returners that can play that spot too. So we don't need to rush to a decision. We're going to play guys and roll them through and see what the right combination is and make it work.